Welcome to this episode of the Cash Flow Club podcast. I'm your host, Perry Jeffries. Thank you for joining us. You guys are in for a special treat. So we want to welcome everybody who's listening to this live or who's going to be listening and watching the recording, and for the folks who are out there sharing this information. So we're super thankful for that. With the Cash Flow Club, and our business in general, our mission is to close the wealth gap, one business, one family, one person at a time. So if you're not plugged into the Cash Flow Club, be sure to visit www.thecashflowclub.com. But the cash is spelled with a K. So that's again www.thecashflowclub.com. All right, with that being said, we gave a shout out to our sponsors. Let's go ahead and jump into it, y'all. So this is such a timely conversation. I know my special guest, I can tell from her energy on her post that she got some stuff she needs to get off her chest. I for sure have some stuff I need to get off my chest. And if you've never heard us build together and heard us share the stage, we're going to give it to you real. We're probably going to hurt some feelings, but understand that we're coming from a place of love and caring, because this is so important to us. So my special guest with us tonight is my sis, Shaundretta Boykins. Been holding it down. I think we over a decade in the game now, if not longer, sis. You know what I'm saying? But
12 years, but
yeah, so we have been out here rocking for a minute. So Shaundretta, before we get started, for anybody who may be on our feed who's never seen you and never connected with you before, you know what I'm saying? Tell the people a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what you're passionate about.
perfect. I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about people's financial well-being. I always start with that. Who I am is really, I guess it's important in the grand scheme of things, but I'm a financial services professional of over 25 years. Been in the credit education restoration business for over 12 years. Been every position in the retail banking center. That's how me and Perry met at Chase, rocking and rolling in the suburbs, killing the game, two black faces over there getting it done. Building wealth, creating wealth, sustaining wealth, even as far back as 2010. And so now I am currently the manager of business development and entrepreneurship for the entire state of Ohio in the Minority Business Development Division. Recently got a title change, a promotion, so definitely excited about that. And again, my passion is making sure that you guys are free. They call me the financial Moses, because I go down and tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. I teach you how to get free and how to stay free. They call me the Harriet Tubman of finances. And so that's what I do all day, every day. It's not only what I get paid to do in my 9 to 5, but it's what God has ordained for me to do. It's my job and it's my calling. It's my career and my calling. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be here with you tonight, bub. You know, it's always love.
It's nothing but love. So before we move further into the topic tonight, I'm gonna give a shout out to you. I think I shared it on social media a couple of days ago. I was scrolling through and saw you posting about, the credit piece and some other things. So understand something, y'all. When it comes to building wealth, it is not a one-on-one sport. It is a team sport, and who's on your team is super important. So Shaundretta's on my team. So though I've been in my industry 20 some odd years as well, we both have different areas of expertise. And as she mentioned earlier, you know what I'm saying, I know Shaundretta is a credit connoisseur, right? So I reached out to her. It was probably, I think it was March when I reached out to you, I believe, last year, March 2021, and said, hey, sis, looking to grab a crib here for my family. I want to make sure my credit is in order and the whole nine. And I hired her. Now, understand this, some of y'all. I want y'all to make sure you get this, because we're going to be dropping gems all night. Make sure you understand and listen to this. This is my sis, you know what I'm saying? I got money on her son's books, right? You know what I'm saying? This is my family. She sends me referrals all the time. But I reached out to her and said, yo, I'm trying to get my credit together and get it, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't bad, but I know I had to get a little bit higher for what I was trying to get accomplished. Reached out to my sis, paid her, send me the invoice. We ain't got to talk about a whole lot. Send me the invoice. She sent me the plan. Fast forward to May of 2022. working with, you know what I'm saying, Shaundretta and putting some things in place, I was able to get approved, not for a $100,000 loan, not a $250,000, not a $500,000, but the bank came and said, yo, we're going to give you 900 stacks, right? Now, the fee I paid her to get approved for 900 stacks, the return on investment on that, we ain't going to talk about that. It's just astronomical. So first gem we're going to drop on y'all today as we start talking about this wealth piece is stop trying to go about doing this on your own. This is not a, you know what I'm saying, a one woman, one man sport. This is a team effort. Hence why it's so important to have your ecosystem of experts. So with that being said, yeah, she got me plugged in. And guess what? We spent about almost every dime of that 900,000 too, sis. So
I love it.
We're gonna bring you over to the housewarming, you know what I'm saying? No doubt.
Please,
So,
please.
absolutely. So the call today, y'all, man, we're talking about entrepreneurship and wealth. So if you're anything like me, every time you turn around, right, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, stories, everybody's telling, hey, these are the only, this is what you need to do to create wealth. Everybody's wealthy. Everybody's making a ton of money, and everybody's saying, hey, you got to be an entrepreneur to acquire wealth, right? Well, I'm going to have some real talk with you, family, because we've been in the game for a minute, not only in corporate America, but also as entrepreneurs, about what we're hearing out there and how it may actually be hurting our chances of a people moving forward with wealth. But I just want to share the problem. I just want to share this problem with y'all real quick. So I'm online right now. Per the Federal Reserve, it says that as of you know what I'm saying, Q4 2021, the top 1% of households in the United States held 32% of the country's wealth, and 10% of the households held 90% of the country's wealth. So anybody who's been following me know I've been pounding the table about let's close the wealth gap, let's close the wealth gap. Understand, this is not a black or white thing. This is not, right. You know what I'm saying? This is a pandemic, very similar to COVID-19, and very similar to COVID-19, how that was a pandemic that affected all of us. It is affecting Black and brown people disproportionately as well. So we're feeling this even more so than some of the other demographics. So just make sure we clear the air on this. This is a all of us thing. And as far as Black and brown people, we really got to get it right, because a slip up here, we might not have a fallback or a plan B plan, right? So we got to make sure we get this piece right. So with respect to that, for those who don't know this, and those are just across the board in the US, but the one thing that sticks out of my mind, sis, is this. We've seen it. You guys, if you don't believe me, just go to Google and type in the number 2053 in the word wealth. You're going to find multiple articles come up. Why is that significant? Because it is projected that by the year 2053, Black and brown people will have zero median net worth.
That's right.
All right. This is a problem, right? This is not just a problem for just Black and brown folks. This is a problem across the board, right? And it's really hurting our community in a major way. So that's why I want to get on here and have a conversation, because entrepreneurship, we know that can close the gap. As of 2017, the leading driver of creating wealth in the United States of America went from being inheritance. That means what you got from mom and them, pops and them. Life insurance. Don't get me started. It's about to be Life Insurance Awareness Month. Awareness Month. Life insurance, the homes, right? Having your paperwork in order. So prior to 2017, what determined whether or not you would have wealth was what you got from your family. As of 2017, it became entrepreneurship. So there's a means to close the gap, right? And to create wealth for yourself. But I think we got to land on the definition and things of that nature. And those are some things we're going to talk about today. But sis, let me be quiet for a second, because I want to hear for you. When you hear that the median net worth for folk is going to be zero by the year 2053, what pops in your head, man?
But for me, that's a hot spot. I mean, we've sat on stages before and talked about that number. And just to put it into perspective, it's almost 2023. So if you think about that, and you think about this baby boom that we've had since the pandemic, we couldn't go nowhere. So we stayed at home humping, then boom, here go all of these babies. When your Black and brown baby turns 30, the median net worth for Black and brown people will be $0. Jesus. Think about that. Think about if you spent the next 30 years or the next 10, the next 20, the next 2, the next 1, setting yourself up to be successful, because entrepreneurship is the gateway to wealth now. Because guess what? Our generation, our parents are not leaving anything for us.
No.
So there is no inheritance. There is no wealth through inheritance. That, my friends, is a black and white thing. That is
Yeah.
a colored and non-colored thing.
Yeah.
Black people, here's what we say. We can't take it with us when we go. Ain't
Mhm.
leaving them kids nothing so they can jack off. No, leave them something, but teach them now what they should do with it in your passing.
Mm.
Our theology, our mindset is so stinking. Our thinking is so stinking that this is the reason why there will be zero wealth for Black and brown people 30 years from now. 30 years from now. I won't even be retired in 30 years.
Right.
I'll still
Right.
be under 65 years old.
Right.
And the
Right.
median wealth will be zero if we don't get this thing together right now.
Ooh. All right. So it's a couple things, man, that got me triggered over here, right? And you spoke to it because you and I talked about it offline, that we have to get past the point where it's a lack of information. The information is available, right? With the technology, with all that's out there, the information is available. But what is stopping us from moving the needle? And you said something about that stinking thinking, right? And I recently read a book. It was called The Jewish Phenomenon: The 7 Keys to the Enduring Wealth of a People. And I could spend a whole week talking about this book. But one of the things that it kept driving home was wealth is transferable, because it's transferable from generation to generation. When you teach others how to go out and not only create money, but what to do with the money after it's created, that is transferable. So it doesn't matter if you're sitting in the Sahara Desert, or you're sitting in the rainforest, or you're sitting in Columbus, Ohio, you in Akron, you in Cleveland, you down south in Texas. It's transferable. So we gotta start to really understand this wealth piece, because if we're transferring poverty to our, to our children, that's what they're going to know to practice. So we have to start transferring this wealth piece. So that thinking is so key there. So sis, check this out. I'm gonna share it with you. I've been sharing it with clients here recently, and this is where I believe my walk and my mission has evolved here, right? So we always hear about intergenerational wealth. Everybody talking that, yo, you need to, trade Forex to create wealth, or you need to trade stock to create wealth, or you need to get your credit score up to 800 to create wealth, or you need to buy real estate to create wealth, right? So it's all of these strategies, right? But the one thing that I find mind-blowing is that in my 20 years of being in my industry, whenever I walk in a room and I ask this question, who wants to be wealthy? Everybody's hand goes up. I said, great.
Everybody.
I said, I'm in the right room. And then I asked this question: how do you define wealth? And it's silence. I've asked this question, probably over 1,000 times now. It's total silence. And then you might hear, hey, well, when you can pay your bills, or hey, when you have $1 million in the bank, or hey, when you hear these different definitions. And it dawned on me one day when I was sitting in a room with some venture capitalists, and one of the venture capitalists, this was in a process of raising $50 million. And the panelists asked her, said, hey, what's the difference between being rich and being wealthy? And her response was, which I so appreciated. This is not a slight on her in any way. I went up to her and I thanked her, because she didn't try to put on this facade. She didn't try to, she said, I don't know. She said, I never learned how to create wealth. I'm just learning now how to create wealth because this is what my husband's family has done. And I'm learning how to create wealth from them. So she was in the process of raising $50 million and couldn't tell you how to create wealth. So one of, I think, our first issues sis, is that we ain't got no definition of wealth. And granted, wealth is different, for everybody, but we still have to land on it, because if we're going to move as a people, right, we have to have a singular goal. You and I, if we're going to build wealth together, you can't think wealth is one thing and I think wealth is totally different. How in the world are we going to build? We're not aligned, right? We're not aligned, unequally yoked, not on the same page, however you want to put it. So I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to break this thing down. What I've landed on here recently is my new definition of wealth, and I've been sharing it with my clients, and we've been seeing tremendous success just off of this alone. I tell them, I say, so here's the deal. Wealth is not a destination. You don't go to bed on Monday and wake up on Tuesday wealthy, right? You didn't go to
That's
bed
right.
unwealthy on Monday, woke up Tuesday and like, whoo, wealthy today, baby, let's go. No. Wealth, by my new definition, our company's new definition is this. It's the accumulation of assets that can be converted to income in order to cover your lifestyle expense. Let's break that down, right? The accumulation of assets, pause. There's a lot of assets you can accumulate, right? Let's talk about them. We got stocks, we got insurance, we got real estate, we got businesses. These are all assets, right? So the accumulation of assets, you got to accumulate them, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order, you know what I'm saying? So the accumulation of assets that can be converted to income, pause. If you buying it, can you turn it into income?
Can you turn it into income? That's right.
Stay with me. In order to cover your lifestyle expense, pause. I ain't say just keep the lights on. I said your lifestyle expense. We like to travel every quarter, right? So if that's what you like to do, that needs to be factored in your lifestyle expense. So
That's right.
Let me say that again for everybody so you can hear this one time and insist. I want to get your feedback on it. The accumulation of assets that can be converted to income in order to cover your lifestyle expense. Let's talk about that real quick. To give me your thoughts on that, sis.
I think that you are a genius. No, when I tell you I love that definition because it's so true. There's not one way, as you stated before, to become wealthy. Everybody's running a master class, everybody's teaching, what got them or what you think got them to a level because they can string some words together. They probably broker than you are in real life. But the accumulation of assets and then transferring them into income, that's it. Because you can accumulate assets and let them sit. You can accumulate assets that will become liabilities if you don't do the right things with them. So you'll go from owning a thing to owing on a thing if you don't figure out how to generate income. And here's the thing with income generation, P, is what I'm learning. People think that because they are making money, they're in business.
Woo!
They think because they are generating revenue that they are in business, but they're not profiting. There are 95% of the Black and brown businesses in the United States have less than $295,000 a year in revenue.
And then when you start to throw some bills on there, go ahead.
Listen, I have so many theories about why that is. And I hurt people's feelings every day on purpose. Selling the candles you make out of your kitchen ain't getting you $295,000. Now, if you got to start in your kitchen, I'm okay with that. But if I'm talking to you 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line and you still making candles in your kitchen and going to vendor events and selling them for $8 each, that ain't gonna get you there, boo.
It ain't gonna get you there.
That's contributing to 2053.
Whew. Yeah, it is in a major way. And then to add on to this, because this is my lane as a CFO, that's the revenue. So you got folks pounding their chest. Oh, we make $295, or we make $500, or we make $1 million, pounding their chest. But you lift up the hood of that business and be like, oh, well, your profit was 25,000, right? You know what I'm saying? Or your owner's compensation was, 30,000. So your business made $1 million. You paid yourself 50,000. You making less than you did at your job, right? You know what I'm saying? With no 401k match. So again, y'all knowing these numbers, that's gonna be a whole nother topic. But thank you for that, sis. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to this real quick. So if we like this definition, so hey y'all, we gonna role play this out. This is the definition that me and my sis are rocking with. The accumulation of assets that can be converted to income in order to cover lifestyle expense. So we are aligned on this now. So the next thing is, how do you measure wealth? I've asked this question on social media. I asked this question in a group of about 54,000 people. And sis, if you could see all the different responses I got around measuring wealth, Well, one, everybody has a different definition of it. And then,
Correct.
and then two, nobody measures it. So I'm gonna give you guys the cheat code. I heard this once, you know what I'm saying, many moons ago from a book. I'm pretty sure it was probably Robert Kiyosaki. And in the book, it talked about that you measure wealth in time. And it's always stuck with me. So if we go with the new definition that we have, how we measure it. Well, first, let me say this. Everybody who can hear this, everybody who is in earshot of us right now, I want y'all to know this. You currently have wealth. Everybody has wealth, okay? How much you have is a different story, but everybody has wealth, because if we're measuring wealth like this, then everybody has it, just how much you have. If wealth is measured in time, then it's simply this. If you were to stop working today, Forex traders, if you were to stop trading today, right? Cryptocurrency cash, you about to, you know what I'm saying? Real estate cash, you know what I'm saying? You got out the real estate business. If whatever it is you do today, whether you have a job 9 to 5, if you shut it down today and did not show up to your career, your job, or your business, how long could you maintain your quality of life? Right?
That's right.
And maintain your lifestyle, right? Is it a year? I just recently sat down with the business owner, sis, that was doing 900,000, almost $1 million. And I asked them a question, and they calculated. I started kind of calculating here, and they said, I think I could last 3 months.
Wow.
They're doing $1 million in revenue.
Wow.
And if they shut down a day, you could maintain your quality of life 3 months. So we all have wealth, y'all. So, but how much do you have? Do you have 10 years? I was talking to a client down in Miami. He has 17 years of wealth. I said, brother, you doing it. But what is financial freedom?
That's right.
This is what we landed on, because you brought this up, you know what I'm saying, with the freedom piece. And I'm going to be quiet after I share this with you. I want to get your feedback on it. If financial freedom is how much wealth you have, how many units of wealth, I want y'all to think about that for folks who are listening to this. How many units of wealth based on years do you need to have to be financially free? What we've landed on and what we're striving for is 30 years. If you were to stop working today, could you maintain your lifestyle for 30 years? That's financial freedom. Let me be quiet for a second.
That's
sis,
beautiful.
What you think, sis? Talk to me.
I think that's beautiful. You even caused me to I'm thinking in my head as well, what that looks like for my own family and my own self. And so, but let me explain something. But here's what we've done. We've listened to people say, you need to have saved at least 9 months of your income so you can get a job. You know, if you go without your job, so you can. When you talk about the mindset piece, I get it. We've been taught and we've believed some crazy stuff. We have not stopped to question it based on who said it. And so we have adopted, whether we want to admit it or not, white is right. You know how many people I argue with Robert Kiyosaki and all those other people. And I'm like, listen, and when you said what he said about time, here's the thing. There is a dispensation of time where people were writing or talking about certain things that were accurate for that specific time. I just talked to the young people. I said, listen, there's a verse of scripture in the Bible that says that women should wear no thing pertaining to a man. But when the man wrote it, he had a dress on. So if that's the truth, you know how they used to dress back in Bible days, right? So if that's the truth, women shouldn't wear dresses. So not only is it time, but it's context as well. Wealth has to be contextualized.
Yes.
So it can't just be the time, it has to be contextualized. And you have to look at the markets and the conditions that's going on surrounding you, because that may have to shift. Think about the turn down in 2007, 2008, 2009, when the market crashed, when real estate crashed. I had a person lose $1 million in real estate. Had to file bankruptcy. Didn't have.
I was one of them, sis. Sis, I was one of them. Folks who know my story, I was one of them. Yes.
Listen, a girlfriend that I went to high school with, she experienced the same thing. Had $1 million worth of property and had to file bankruptcy. That crash hit her hard. And so in 2007 through 2009, real estate was not an asset that you could create income from. It was not one, depending on, where you were. Now, it didn't affect everybody, but it did affect the majority of persons who were not properly prepared and who didn't have anything subsequent behind that to keep that revenue generating.
Yeah.
That predatory lending, all of that stuff caught up to them. So when you talk about time, I 100% agree. But I also want to add context.
Yep.
Because, and here's not only that, it's time, it's context, and it's the characters. Who are we talking to? Who are the characters in this story? Who are we talking to? Because it matters.
Yes, ma'am.
The characters matter. Like I tell y'all, when these authors was writing these books and this man said, I don't believe in credit and all this other kind of stuff. Well, what you gonna believe in if you cash poor, but you got to do something. You got to bust a move. His friends didn't need credit because they were already wealthy at that time.
Correct.
And credit was not all the buzz. Now it's more popular because credit equals character. So when somebody is trying to judge your character, they're checking your credit.
Sis,
you
go ahead.
I'm sorry, but no. You go.
No. You're hitting something that's so powerful right now. I recently had one of my team members on my team say this to me. I always ask my team, what were you working on, what you've been reading, and whatnot. And they shared a book with us. I forget the name of the book, but the concept was, do you have rigid thinking or flexible thinking? Because we've even seen it now with some pastors who have kind of backtracked a little bit and say, hey, this is how we feel about this. This is what we've been preaching, but the times have changed. This is kind of what we're thinking right now. We have to be flexible in this wealth piece, right? In this wealth creation piece. And to your point, I literally just helped a client helped a prospect. Well, it's so funny. They didn't even pay me, sis. They got on my calendar. Now, don't stay with me because I do my consultations for free. I got on my calendar. He has some questions about what he wanted to do with his 401k, and I stopped him from making a $2.5 million mistake in about 15 minutes.
Have mercy.
He still never shot no paper over to me, but he was about to make.
I was going to say, your Cash App should have been ring a ding ding
showing all kind of love, right? But the deal is, he was following the Dave Ramsey program, right? And then following the Dave Ramsey program, I'm like, pause. You're about to try to eliminate all of your debt by cashing out your 401k? No. Literally, when I backed into the numbers and showed him what he was going to be saving, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh, literally came up to 2.5 million because the kid was like 20 something years old, right? So again, y'all, don't get me started talking about the ecosystem and who you talk to. But to your point, sis, the characters who are in the game, the context, right? And also too, things change. How we're making money today is different. Like when I first got into this financial service industry back in 2003, there wasn't no 20-year-olds making $100,000 a month with drop shipping. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So there was no coaches charging $10,000 for 90 days. It's a different market now. So again, if that's why it's so flexible in that definition of wealth, right? And how we measure it.
Right.
So thank you for bringing it up, man. That's so powerful. So sis, as we talk about this, because I only want to spend 45 minutes because I know you and I get to rocking and rolling. But let's talk about, I love what you said this right here, and I wrote it down, that entrepreneurship is the gateway to wealth. I'm gonna add something to that, and then I really want to hear your thoughts on this piece, right? Understand, y'all, most of y'all ain't built for entrepreneurship, and that's cool. Because real entrepreneurship, if we talk about the truth of entrepreneurship, this thing is hard. Like, you have to be, when you're a 100% entrepreneur and you laying up at night trying to figure out how you're going to put food on the table, like, it's different than having a job. You know what you're going to get every 2 weeks on the job. As an entrepreneur, you don't know what you're going to get next month. You know what I'm saying? Things get shut down. Your Facebook ad account can get shut down. There's no revenue coming in. So it's a different beast, right? But my thoughts on entrepreneurship is this, because I don't want to exclude anybody. Entrepreneurship, really, and you said this earlier, sis, is y'all making revenue, but you're not in business. You need these business skills, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. Your household is the most important corporation you ever be a part of. So though you might not have you an LLC and an EIN number and all that, you still need to run your household like a business, right? So this business acumen, this financial literacy is super important. But going back to this gateway to wealth, I believe that is the gateway to wealth because of the tax advantages of being an entrepreneur. The fact that you can get more capital, so you can make more as an entrepreneur, pay less in taxes than you.
That's
You know what I'm saying? Right. But the deal is, you don't get to wealth unless you know what to do with the money. If you're not acquiring assets, right? So I wanted to say that. So here's the deal: just because you out here making bread and you on the cover of the magazine and you 40 under 40, I ain't never been voted nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no 40 under 40, 30 under 30. You know what I'm saying? It's mind blowing. Family. I'm sitting there and I'm seeing folks on the thing and I'm like, okay. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. Right? But understand, just because you making money don't mean you creating wealth. Just because you trading stocks don't mean you creating wealth. When you trade that stock, you created income. That's why you got a 1099. Now, what do you do with that income? Did you go out and acquire some assets? So let's talk about this entrepreneurship being a gateway to wealth, because entrepreneurship ain't for everybody, but all of us need to understand how to run a business because your household is a business. Give me your thoughts on this, sis. Talk to me.
Pete, 100%. Listen, we share the same brain, because this is what I promise you, I was saying it as you were saying it. I was saying it in my head. And I'm like, whatever the case may be, your life is a business. You are the CEO of your life. You may be the COO, the CFO, or the CEO of your household, but every aspect of your life should be run like a business. So the accumulation of the skills, the language as well. I've heard you say before, and I adopted this, that literacy means language. And if you do not speak the language, you need a translator. That's like me trying to go to China and ask for some fried chicken. They're gonna be like, what? If you don't speak the language, you need a translator. When it comes to credit, financial literacy, business literacy, when it comes to insurances and investments, Perry speaks that language. Here's what y'all got to stop being so cheap. I had somebody text me the other day. Now I'm in the middle of continuing education, because let me back up a little bit too. If you are an entrepreneur, I couldn't care less what industry you're in. You do not know it all. You do not create it all. You got to go get continuing education. I don't care what it is. Every 2 years for Perry's licenses, he got to do CEUs to keep his licenses active. Every single month, it feels like for me, because credit changes every single day, I'm paying the experts to teach me what's new, not only what's new, but what's on the horizon, what's to come, so I can give relevant information to my clients. And guess what? If I got to pay to get it, listen, if I got to pay for the sauce, y'all got to pay for the drip. So when my prices go up, they go up because I had to pay to get what's going to get you in a position like Perry with $900,000 approved house in less than a year. This is the kind of stuff that y'all got to stop doing. And you have to adopt this mentality. Everybody wants to be a gardener. When you're a gardener, you feed your family and you feed the family next door. But when you are a farmer, you feed the nation. And because we have developed this gardener mentality, I'm gonna care about my circle and I'm gonna care about who on my block. That's all you gonna get. Is them little coins from what's on your block. But until you expand your mind and your horizons and think bigger and believe you deserve it and believe that it's possible for you, until your mindset changes, you're going to forever be a gardener and you're never going to be a farmer. Farmers have transcending wealth. Transcending means it trickles down from generation to generation. A gardener's mentality says, I feed myself and I may give my neighbor over here some collard greens and I may give my neighbor over here some bell peppers.
And the tomatoes too.
And a little bit of tomatoes. That's our mentality. That is what's contributing to the fact that in 2053, 30 short years, the wealth is gone. The wealth is gone.
I got to jump in, sis. What you said was so powerful. So I got a quick testimony here. So you talk about that gardener piece. So I hired a consulting firm, the same one I hired back in about 2017, right when I first got married, when my business, I was grinding like crazy and I wasn't making that type of paper. I was actually grinding harder than the year before and had made 30% less, year to date, right? So for people, for easy math, if I made $100,000 the year before, that year I had made 70 and I was working way harder, right? So I hired a consulting firm and the cat told me, he said he was going to charge me 10 stacks for 90 days. And I was like, ooh, and I ran it by my wife and she's like, hey, baby, if you think this is what we need to do for the family, I got your back, hold it down. That's another gem. If you out here building, make sure you building with the right partner. And if you ain't the right partner, build by yourself. But that's another episode.
That's a different piece, buddy.
But I spent 10 stacks for 90 days. Let me say that again, $10,000 for 90 days. But this was their promise to me that they were going to put the systems in place to double my revenue in 90 days. So if I made 100,000, they were promising that I was going to be making 200,000 after coming out the program. So spend 10 to make 100. Y'all playing lottery. Y'all got scratch off lottery tickets right now. Y'all at bingo. You're going to bingo. You got to scratch off lottery tickets. You at the casino. You know what I'm saying? And I got better odds. You got better odds paying us to get you where you need to be than going to the casino with them or playing them scratch offs, right? So when I said that, I said, oh, it's a mindset shift. Spend 10 to make 100. Even if he did a horrible job and I spent 10 and it added 50, I was still up, right? So to your point right there about being cheap. But the testimony is this, sis. Fast forward. Our business is experiencing amazing growth. You know what I'm saying? All blessing, all thanks to the Most High on that.
I love it.
Yep. And I went and hired the company again. Let me tell you the difference in the mindset. I was begging them to take my 10 stacks. They're like, Perry, we don't do the 90-day no more. We do the 12-month, $3,300 a month. I said, yo, but I was like Pookie on New Jack City. Fam, can you please take my 10 stacks? Like, can I get a couple? I just need 3 months.
You got some more of that. Yeah, you got some more of them consultations over there.
Yo, you got some more of that, right? Because I hired them. And when I hired them, I told them, I said, this is my dilemma. It's a team of about 4 of us. But this is my goal, is to close this wealth gap. And when I shared my goal, they said, Perry, your goal is honorable. You're coming from a place, because let me keep it 100. If I start right now with just the clients that I have and I didn't lose any of my clients right now, my family is good.
Right.
We Gucci right now.
Right.
But that's not what I've been ordained to do. That's not what my walk, that's not what my calling is. My calling is I understand these numbers and I'm in a place where I can help people. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? When I told them, I said, my goal is to help close this wealth gap. They said, well, Perry, guess what? You can't do it by yourself.
That's right.
How many people can you work with? So guess what? You got to hire and build your team. We've hired 2 more people since that, since we finished that 90-day.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying? We've had 2 consecutive months of some of the largest months we've ever had. And again, to your point about, here's the deal, y'all, we're going to move the needle. It's a group effort and we can't be cheap, to your point, but it's a group effort. It's an ecosystem. Because
that's right.
Because this projection of zero medium net worth in 2053, that's us collectively, which means there's some people that's going to be negative. Median means the middle.
The middle.
That's gonna be, so that's going to be some folks is going to be negative.
Correct.
We can only move this needle together as an ecosystem. That's why it's so important that we dial in and we rock with each other and have these real discussions.
And P, listen, here's what I'm telling people. Here's what I'm finding out as I travel the state. They don't even know what that word means.
Ooh,
ecosystem.
Talk to me.
And I'm telling them, I'm like, listen, you're Black minority. Let me be politically correct. You're a minority. You're a woman. You're perhaps a veteran. You're economically disadvantaged. You're marginalized. You call yourself a business owner. There's so much help out here for you. And guess what? You won't go and involve yourself in an ecosystem that supports every demographic that you are. Eat the meat and throw away the bones. Everywhere you go, somebody gonna say something crazy. Ask questions if it don't make sense. Make sure you have an understanding. Get a second opinion, just like you would want one if somebody said you had cancer or AIDS. You'd be like, oh, I don't believe that. Let me talk to somebody else.
Right.
whatever you don't believe somebody tells you financially, go talk to somebody else or 2 or 3 people and make sure that you're getting the same information across the board if you don't know how to trust, because every advisor is not a trusted one.
Every advisor is
Trust
not a
me.
trusted one. Trust that. Say that, sis.
Correct. So Perry was helping a gentleman, talking to a gentleman, and he's having a huge conference about generating revenue or some income or whatever the case may be. And Perry asked him how much revenue he generated last year. He couldn't even tell him the number.
Couldn't tell me
But
the number
you
at all.
look good. You're
Couldn't tell me.
charismatic.
Yep.
You can talk. You got the gift of gab. Whatever. You're friendly. People want to be around you. So you'll charge and people will come to this conference and you can't teach them a mammy stinking thing because guess what? You don't even know. You don't know your own numbers.
Jeez. And sis, and again, that's why I've come to the realization it's not lack of information. And I used to say it's not lack of information, it's lack of implementation. Now I'm starting to really understand that before we can even get to the implementation piece, we got to get through these roadblocks in our mindset around, because the deal is we love theory. The theory, oh, it sounds good. I'm sitting down with a cat the other day. I said, hey, man, give me your top 3, financial goals. Boom, boom. He said, I want to have $250,000 liquid. I said, why? Well, I don't know. I was just in a room with some other cats, and that's what they said they wanted to have. Well, why do you want 250? Why not 125? What do you need the money for? Like, he couldn't answer that. So we got to stop, run this thing off of theory. It can't be theory, y'all. For us to move this needle and close this gap, we got to move from theory into action. But in order to move into action, you have to have crystal clarity about what the goal is. You can't have 20 definitions of wealth. You can't have 50 different ways to measure it. You know what I'm saying? If we are aligned in our common goal, this is just plain mathematics. This is just athletics. It's
simple math.
Here's the deal. If we all know that the GPS says we need to hit that destination right there, if we're not on that same destination, we're all over the place and scattered. And that's why we as a people have to get it together. And again, us as Black and brown folks really got to get together because we're already coming to the game with some disadvantages and not having inheritance and whatnot. But the U.S. as a whole got to get it together because these numbers ain't going to get any better, right? So with that being said, y'all, sis, I promise I was only going to keep us on here about 45 minutes, but me and you,
yes, sir.
Me and you get to rolling, right? Here's
all night long.
Here's the deal. I love you, love your family, but I want to give an example of the ecosystem so people can really understand it. Because sometimes you hear it, but I'm going to give you guys like in real life terms. This is how this works. Me and my sis have a level of trust. We have alignment. I took her to Brio for lunch, a couple years ago and said, why do you do what you do? Like, yeah, we rocked with each other back in corporate, but I'm seeing the way you move now. Why do you do what you do? And when she looked me dead in my eye and genuinely articulated to me that she's here to help the people, I said, that's someone I can align with because I want to help the people. Not about being successful, it's about being relevant. It's not about my own success, it's about how many people I can help be successful. So when I saw that we had alignment then, sis, I was like, I rock with you. We ain't got to get into numbers, but how many times do I just send you paper just to say thank you? Like, hey, sis.
Oh my God.
I just want to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Right?
It had me in tears.
So here's the ecosystem, y'all. You find alignment. You find your tribe, people that you align with, and then you help each other, right? Like this is a virtual Black Wall Street. Y'all looking at it right now and don't even realize.
That's right. That's right.
Shaundretta knows what I do. She knows how passionate I am. She knows my character. She knows she can trust me. She sends me referrals. What I do, you know what I'm saying? I send her referrals, but also too, I pay her for her services, right? Then she'll send me a referral. And we're not asking for this. This is just what we do naturally, right? And guess what? You know what I'm saying? When she adopted her son, Chosen, it's like, hey, here's some paper on his books. You know what I'm saying? Tell him his Uncle P, just put some paper on his books. So understand, y'all, we are just building, right? And we want to build with other people, but I don't want to say you can't be sloppy because you don't know what you don't know, right? But you got to have a mindset shift. You got to get plugged into that. You can't do this yourself, that you don't know everything. Humble yourself, you know what I'm saying? And come to the table and like, hey, I want to build, right? So I want to end with that because you talked about the ecosystem, sis, and I don't know if Cass understand that because the way this then flows, right? Okay, I get a referral, I make some money. I make some money, but I put the money back out into the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
That's
helping
right.
somebody else out, right? Or I took that money and I went and got smarter and figured out how to pay my mortgage off in 7.2 years. You know what I'm saying? Now I got money. Oh, that's a whole nother topic, sis. They don't know about, because the ecosystem ain't even about the sharing of money. When my sis finds some game, you know who she calling? Hey, P, let me tell you what I just learned. What?
P,
Let's
you want to
go
pay your house off you just bought in 7 years?
Let's
Do
go
this.
get that, right? So it's the information exchange, it's the value exchange, it's the love exchange, right? So sis, anybody, you know what I'm saying, I know your people know who you are and how to contact you, but if some people listen to this, who follow me and not connected with you, how can they connect with you if they need your services around credit, mentorship, whatever the case may be? How do they connect?
They can go directly through UP
Yep.
or here on Facebook.
Facts.
I'm not running from bill collectors, so I answer all phone calls, 614-843-3577. I check all messages, I respond. Yeah, I ain't running from nobody. So I'm here. And if there are people who are tuned in for me that don't know P, which y'all should. If you know me, you know P, period. But in case you don't, P, tell the people how to get in contact with you.
Mad love, sis. So obviously, if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying, on the Facebook Live, hit us with a DM. The DMs are open. You know what I'm saying? I'm married, so I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? And my wife gonna check them too. We actually just retired her at 40, and she's joining the company September 1. So
I love it.
So you can holler us there. You can also go to diamondequityadvisors.com, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get plugged in, see what we're doing. But I will tell you guys this, and this is just me keeping it 100. This is not me flexing. Where my business model is, there's a lot of businesses that are just not in a position to afford our services. And that's not a slight to anybody, right? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Everybody can't go and buy a Mercedes-Benz, right? But we still want you to get from point A to point B. So please, 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 we just hired a new copywriter, awesome chick. Big shout out to Ebony. Go visit the Cash Flow Club. We have access to all of the tools, the how-to videos, the bi-weekly trainings, the ecosystem. Go to the Cash Flow Club and check it out. www.thecashflowclub.com, and the cash flow is spelled with a K. Go check us out and definitely connect with us there, right? And then the last piece, sis, I'm gonna do, and this is where I had to do this call with you, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it was just burning me up. For the past couple of weeks, we've been trying to give away what we believe is a resource that is game changing. We've been using it with our current clients, and the way we've been able to move the needle has been phenomenal. So I will tell you this, we've used it in my household and it's a game changer. Like when I can sit down with my wife and say, hey, baby, we have 14.9 years of wealth, right? How empowering is that? Are we financially free? No, because the goal is to get to 30. But how many people can sit down and without a shadow of a doubt, look that person in the face and say, we got 14.9 years of wealth. So, and everybody's not going to be there. You might have 0.5 years of wealth, but it doesn't matter because you need to know where you are today so you can build. That which is not measured cannot be improved, period.
That's right.
So if you're hearing this, you hit me with a DM with the word freedom, because that's one of the things that my sis started off talking about. We talked about freedom, you know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying? The financial Moses, let my people go, right? You get in my DMs with the word freedom, we are going to give you access to our wealth creating companion app. This app costs money. This is a $2,500 value. Inbox me, hit me up. If you're watching this live, just type the word freedom. I'm going to tag one of my assistants. We're going to give you the app. Now, the deal is we're going to give it to you for free for life. Now, here's the deal, though. My clients have it and they paying for it. So they're not getting slighted here because guess what? The app allows us to track their wealth in real time, which allows me to advise. But I'm going to give you guys the app. You don't get me yet. You got to pay for that. But I'm going to give you the app right now because you need to know how much wealth you have today. So real talk, go do that. I'm trying to give it away. I told my assistant, I'm going to give out 100 of these. I'm going to give out 100 of these apps where you can know your numbers in real time. So you can tell your spouse, tell your family, tell your loved ones, hey, you know what? Right now we got 1 year of wealth. Let's knock down 2. You know what? Let's get to 5. You know what I'm saying? Let's lean into it.
That's huge,
because real talk, You cannot improve that which you don't measure. And this is what my assistant told me earlier today. I think it was yesterday. She said, Perry, I think I'm getting feedback from people, and I think I know what it is. People are like, man, we don't need the app because we don't have any wealth. That's why you need the app, because you don't know how much wealth you have, because it's not a dollar amount. It's time and access to information. So that's how we're going to close that piece out. Sis, I know they're going to tell us to get back on and do one of these. I don't know if it's going to be next week, next month, once a quarter, but we got so much more to kind of unpack here for the people. I just want to say, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Tell the family I said what's up. Tell hubby I said what's up. You know what I'm saying? Hug my nephew.
My family is your family and your family is my family. I got one thing to say before I go, P. I can't not say it.
Yes, ma'am.
When we close, let me tell you what's going to make it easier than just focusing on wealth to close this gap. When we close the information gap, and when we close the trust gap, we will close the wealth gap automatically. The wealth gap is a beneficiary of the closing of the trust gap.
Lord,
the reason why we can't get wealthy as a people is because we don't trust one another as a people. So when we can trust each other, like Perry and I trust one another, because we're going to be on the upper side of that wealth gap. I can assure you that.
No question
of that
about
2053.
No
we're going to be
question.
on the upside of that. And we want you to be there too. But the only way to get there, Perry trusted me. That's why he came to me. I send people that I love and that I counsel and my people to Perry because I trust him. I don't second guess. I don't ask if he talked to him. I don't have to, because I already know that he does. I don't follow up. I don't do anything. The people tell me how awesome Perry is. I already know. That's why I sent you over there. But because there is trust between us, we will be above average on that wealth curve. We'll be above that. And so when you join the trust party, and that's why I said earlier, and I alluded to trusted advisors, you cannot trust everyone. When it comes to financial services in this state, not in this city, in the state of Ohio, if Perry and myself have not heard of them, talked with them, vetted them, you shouldn't be either. You shouldn't. There's not an industry professional. If they out there, they under a rock. Because collectively between the two of us is 48 years in financial services in this state, not this city. He from Akron, I'm from Cleveland. We didn't just get in financial services when we got here. We've been in it all high.
Say that.
So we know who these people are. And if we don't, if by chance somebody slipped under, but they are legit, we can vet them and find out.
Yep.
Oh, baby, trust me, I can find out.
Yes, indeed.
So let's work on trusting one another. My granddaddy told me two things. He said, a nigga will sink the whole ship if he can't be the captain.
Facts.
That means he doesn't trust the person who's leading. He also said, a nigga under the hood will make the motor no good, which means he wouldn't trust the mechanic.
Sheesh.
If he is the same color. That's stinking thinking. It took me years to untrain myself to think like that and to believe I could trust somebody who looks like me. And I'm so, no slight to my granddad. I love him. Greatest man on the planet to ever live. However, when he grew up at a time and place in racist Birmingham, Alabama, that's where he developed those beliefs. So no knock to my granddad at all. His beliefs are warranted. What I'm saying is it's a different time. So I contextualize that. I understand the time and the conditions that we're in. And I say, I'm going to find somebody to trust. I found a brother in Perry. I trust him. And so because of that, our wealth increases because we're referring to one another.
Because we trust
each other.
That's
the ecosystem. That's the Underground Railroad. That's it. That's when you go and grab somebody and pull them up. And then we're trying to go back and grab you all and pull you up. That's the ecosystem. That's the Underground Railroad. That's the mentality that we have to adopt. I get it, but guess what? It's some white people done you wrong. It's some Asians followed you around the hair store. The people who you're closest by, that's why they don't talk about white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime. But the people who you're closest to are the people you offend. So white people kill white people at the same rate Black people kill Black people. Facts. You just don't hear about it because they control the media. Asians kill Asians the same way Blacks kill Blacks because Asians and Asians live next to each other. You just don't hear about it because those people have money and they control the media. So let's get our minds right, because guess what? Money ain't got nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with your mentality.
Woo! Hold on. That's it right there. That's the mic drop. That's what I was looking for. I knew it was coming, sis. Money ain't got nothing to do with money. Money got to do with mindset, and we gonna end on that, y'all. So if you're tuning in and listening to this, you know what I'm saying, on the podcast, make sure you love this, make sure you share this, make sure you bless somebody. If you're checking this out on Facebook Live, make sure you know what I'm saying, just show us some love, let us know, like, you know what I'm saying, it resonated with you. Share it. This is how you show love. Share it on your feed, share it to your loved ones, watch it with them, and then let us know how we can help you. We are here to help. We are blessed to be in a position that we can help and help people win, right? So with that being said, that's it. So that being said, y'all, we're going to catch y'all on the next episode.
Love you, Bubby.
Nothing, love you back.
Tell Sarah and the girls I said hello. Tell Mommy I said hello.
For sure.
All right.
And we catch you next episode. Peace.